Good evening, guys. How are you guys doing? Happy Sunday. So, for a group of you guys, that unexpected shift that you're going through right now that you think is a disaster, and you're wondering where is all this havoc coming from? God, why am I being forced to do this? This is crazy. You didn't even really expect this to happen. Or I felt the shift. I felt something was going to happen, God, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. See, right now, you think it's the worst thing ever because you don't know what was going to happen to you. God had to force this to happen to you. So for a group of you guys, there's an unexpected shift, an unexpected turn of events that's happening where you're being forced into a situation, or you're being forced to take specific steps, take action, because you have no choice. This is pertaining to God telling you to leave that relationship and you not listening to him and you just got broken up with. Or God telling you to release that friend or that family, you didn't listen and you just got hurt, right? Or God telling you to leave that job, you didn't listen because you had this, anxiety of where am I going to get my next paycheck from? God, I have this. So it's almost like you stalled on the instructions that God gave you and then you got fired or you got laid off. Or God telling you to leave that neighborhood or leave that residence, leave that home, and you stalled. And then you have no choice but to leave, or you got evicted. And right now it feels like it's the worst thing ever. It feels like it's a storm going on. And you're like, God, this is warfare. This is that. God had to force this to happen. Because had you stayed in the position that you were comfortable in, that you were stalling in, and what I mean by stalling, it's almost like there's supposed to be a shift, there's supposed to be a turn of events, that God is telling you to do something, but because you don't know what's next for your life, and you may have a little bit of anxiety and fear of the unknown, or your faith is, yes, as small as a mustard seed, but you're not really 100% walking in God's instructions. It's almost like you're kind of waiting for more confirmation, although God has already confirmed it to you 10 times. Right? You're avoiding feeling uncomfortable. God had to force you into action. Okay? Because many of you guys, you were going to go backwards. As in, some of you guys, a lot of what you have learned through Christ, a lot of the changes that you have made in your life, had you stayed around certain people, whatever you would have been going through would have tempted you to go backwards, to the point where you would have completely fell off track. Okay? And then for some of you guys, had you stayed in that relationship, it would have prevented you from meeting the person you're actually supposed to be with. If you would have stayed in that job, it would have prevented you from getting to your purpose. Had you stayed in that environment or that home, it would have prevented you from upgrading and from being in an environment that's healthy. Because you may have been in an environment that was cursed, land that was cursed, a neighborhood that was cursed, or a situation where people know where you are, that can put you in harm's way. What you're going through now is far better than what you would have went through had you stayed where you felt you were comfortable, or had you stalled any longer. God had to force you into action. The Lord was showing me Lot's wife. The angel of the Lord went to Lot and his family. And the angel of the Lord warned Lot and said, you guys have to leave. This city's under judgment. He said not to look back when you leave. Right? Lot and his family left, but Lot's wife looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. Okay? Many of you guys, you would have looked back had you stayed and continued to stall in that job, in that friendship, in that relationship, in that environment, in that home. If you would have continued to stall, you would have went backwards. And what happened to Lot's wife would have happened to you. No, you would not have turned into a pillar of salt, but you would have been stagnant. You would have been oppressed. You would have been stuck. Okay? And who knows what could have happened. So even in the moment right now where you feel like what's happening is the worst thing ever, what you don't understand is God prevented something worse from happening to you. Right? And the only reason why it's a little bit harsh right now is because when he was instructing you to do it, You took too long to take action because you wanted to confirm over and over and over again, because you did not like the idea of being in a position where you didn't know what's next, and you didn't like the idea of being uncomfortable. So it is a little bit harsher now than what it could have been had you listened earlier, but the outcome is still going to stay the same because he's forcing you out of that situation. So God is saving the outcome. He is saving his blessings for your life. He is saving the prosperity he has for you, because his plan is to prosper you, not to harm you. So it may feel like the worst thing right now, but it's better than what could have happened. So yes, he is forcing you to take action. And yes, it feels uncomfortable, but lean not on your own understanding. Okay? I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.